Hello everyone. So we're doing the first service on the BMW S1000R 2025. Tom from BMW Group 1 Motorrad was kind enough to volunteer and answer some of our questions. If you're interested in doing your first service, what happens during the first service, and the kind of bits and bobs that they check during the first service. Tom, before we start, for how long have you been a technician?
So I've been a technician here for 11 years now. Started as an apprentice and worked my way up, and now I'm currently a senior tech here.
Senior technician, nice one. We've got a senior technician working on the bike, which is always a good sign. Tom, do you want to tell us what happens during the first service of the bike, quickly, the main things that you're checking?
Yeah, cool. So there's two main things that we do on a S1000R service. We'll change the oil and take the limiter off. There are a few other things as well. Chain tension, coolant level checks, clutch play, just little bits and bobs that you generally check on a first service.
Talking about the limiter, I've noticed as soon as I took it out, I had 3 Yamahas before I had the BMW, and they've just told me, take it slow, don't rev it too much, keep it under a specific amount of revs. But on the BMW, actually, I noticed there's a soft limiter in the software, I assume. And as soon as it hits a specific RPM, it just kills the engine. I was surprised. I was asking Will when I bought the bike, do I need to be careful? And he said, do whatever you want, the bike will stop you.
The bike will sort it out.
So is that something you've got on all of the BMWs, or is specific to the S1000R and RR?
So on the S models, we have a limiter. It's actually programmed into the hardware. So on your first service, we'll be plugging your bike in, doing your service, and then removing that limiter. It's just to protect the bike in its first 600 miles, just so you avoid any damages, because it's a new engine. You just want to protect it.
Why is the first service so important? Why can't I just ride it over 600 miles?
So first servicing is important because obviously it's a brand new engine and a brand new bike. These engines need time to bed in. They need the tolerances to set in. Things are going to be moving around. Bits of metal are going to be coming off, very small flakes, just where the engine's new and it's just trying to bed in. So we need to do a first service just so we can bed the engine into a predetermined amount of time and then flush all the impurities out, so you can ride the bike harder for a longer time.
Well, legally. Under the speed limits. What's the absolute limit? For example, BMW recommends 600 miles. As soon as you do 600 miles, do your service. What's the limit? If I go above 600 miles, what's the limit, and what happens if I go over it?
So for these S1000 models, the limit is between 300 to 750 miles. That's just the way BMW have determined that is the bedding in period. Going over that mileage, you might have a bit of trouble with warranty later on. They might see that you haven't followed their procedure, and it's not going to be very good because we want to get those impurities out of the bike as quickly as possible. So we've got a fresh load of engine oil running around the bike.
So minimum of 300. Once I've done 300, I can come in, do the service.
That's right.
If I'm at 600, ideally, but the limit is 750. So make sure you come in before 750 so you avoid any warranty issues, warranty claims in the future. Not that you'd probably need them on this bike anyway. So we've got the 2025 model here. BMW has been producing the S1000R for quite a significant time. This is the 3rd or 4th generation now. And is there anything that you would check on this one when you do the first service, when you compare it to the previous gens?
The answer would be no, because across the S range, XR, RR, and R, we all have the same service items in the first service. So there's no other bits that we check differently.
Okay, that's I guess that's good to know. Are there any quirks or particular things, once you service it, do customers come back with questions saying, oh, I've noticed something different after the first service, or the bike feels the same? Normally
it feels the same. Obviously the main thing is when the limiter comes off, we get a lot of happy customers coming back in, and it can go so much faster and rev so much higher now. They're a bit surprised about how much
legally.
Yeah, legally. So yes, that's probably the main thing. The quirks, not so really. They're pretty solid bikes.
That's good. I have a friend, Amar. He bought the S1000 XR, so the 2025 one. And as soon as he got it unlocked, he said completely different bike.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about what you check when you bring the bike in. How often should owners check their chain tension, fluids on the bike between the services?
So I'd actually recommend checking the oil, the fluids, the chain tension pretty much before every ride, just so that you know when you're going out, you know everything is in order and you're going to be safe on that ride. There is no real set interval, but I personally would recommend before every ride.
Okay, that's a good thing to know. I think it's more about the safety of the owner, of the rider, and also about making sure that the engine is safe and the bike is safe and it's not going to break down.
100%.
Any simple tips like to keep the bike in really good condition that you would recommend?
I'd particularly say to check the chain on these S models. Obviously, they're a very powerful engine. There's a lot of torque going through that rear wheel. So you want to make sure your chain tension is correct. If it's too loose, it's going to slap around. The power's not going to be sent to the rear wheel properly. If it's too tight, there's going to be too much tension. You want to make sure it's nice and lubricated as well, just so you're getting that long life on the chain. Make sure your brake pads, make sure they're always good. It can go just as fast, but you need to stop as well. So make sure you're checking your pads regularly. Tyre pressures as well, that's a big factor, especially on these S models. Too low and it's going to be really hard and sluggish to turn. Too high and it's going to be, it might be too slippy on the road, not enough grip. So follow the manual and check the correct pressures in there. They have obviously been tested by BMW and that's what they've come to. So yeah, those are the three main things I'd recommend checking.
That's good to know. That's good to know. The good thing with the S1000R Sport that I've got is that it has the tire pressure sensors as well. So it highlights as soon as there's an issue, difference in tire pressure from what the manufacturer recommends, it would highlight on the dash and it would tell me, go get it checked, make sure you're safe on the road. So that's very positive. From an oil perspective, what oil do you use in the bikes?
So these bikes use 5W40.
5W40. That's quite common.
Yeah, it's quite common in the BMW range. There is another type of oil for air-cooled bikes, but obviously the S1000R is water-cooled, so all our water-cooled bikes use 5W40.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know if you decide to do any maintenance at home and do an oil change at home as well. How often do you change the oil on these bikes?
So on these ones, it's every 6,000 miles or yearly.
Okay, good to know. Tom, is there anything that you prefer or dislike when it comes to working on the S1000 single R?
So I actually really like working on these bikes. There is a lot less fairing, as you can see. It's quite easy to do the first service. The oil filter's only down there and the sump's down there. I don't have to take any fairings off at all. Most of the maintenance items I can get to quite easily. The chain's right there, easily to get to. If I got to do a big service, valve clearances, there's only a few panels up here and the tank to remove, and then I'm right on top of the engine there. I just quite enjoy them. I don't really have any problems with working on them. There's nothing really I hate. I think they're quite good bikes to work on, so yeah.
Good. Thank you.
That's all right, no problem.
I think that was the last question. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you for volunteering to be our test subject here.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you for all the work. Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, God bless.